Guaranteed. Somebody made a call. Hey, I think a Bay Zoo here, bro. Hey, Bay Zoo here, bro.
New footage just dropped online and the internet is losing its mind. The clip appears to show some of Lil Durk's own people hanging out with the same crew, allegedly connected to THF Zoo's murder, and the reaction has been wild. From O-Block to the far edges of the city, everyone's in disbelief, whispering, posting, and arguing about what really went down. Now the streets are split. Some say it's fake, others swear it's solid proof. Everyone's asking the same question: who broke the code? Who put the target on one of their own? Let's break it down. It was October 25th, 2025, a Saturday around 3 p.m., just another day in the chai. Folks were moving low-key, chilling, maybe hitting licks at the auto parts store, trying to stay out of the spotlight. But for Da Vinci, known in the streets as THF Bezo Collier, a 35-year-old drill rapper who'd been rocking with Lil Durk's Only the Family since day one, this was the day everything changed. Zoo wasn't out here moving reckless or trying to start beef. He pulled up to the pick-and-pull spot in Little Village, over by South Lawndale, right off the 3100 block of South St. Louis Avenue. Man was just trying to grab a few parts for his car, nothing more. No IG stories, no flexing chains, no diss tracks, just regular grown man business. But the streets don't care about your peace or your plans. When someone wants you gone, they'll find you anywhere. At the gas station, grocery store, or even a damn junkyard. What happened next? Straight execution style, cold and calculated. A mystery car slid through that parking lot with precision that made it clear this wasn't random. Nah, this was planned. Somebody knew Zoo's every move. This wasn't no quick crash-out moment. It was orchestrated, studied, and delivered with purpose. Someone did their homework, and the results were deadly. Bezo wasn't alone that day. He had two of his guys with him, one 39 and the other 42. But when the ops pulled up, they came ready for war. They let them ratchet sing loud and ruthless, turning that parking lot into a full-blown battlefield. I'm talking over 100 shots ringing out. Not 10, not 20. 100 bullets flying like it was a live round of Call of Duty in the middle of the city. It was chaos in real life, pure mayhem echoing off the concrete. When the crime scene techs showed up, they found shell casings scattered everywhere. 20 from rifles, 19 from 9mm. That's almost 40 separate warnings that these dudes didn't come to scare nobody. They came to erase Zoo for good. Even the cars parked nearby got lit up. 5 of them riddled with holes, windows shattered, metal twisted up like tin foil. Every inch of that lot screamed one thing. They wanted Zoo gone. Zoo was clearly the target, no doubts about it. He took multiple shots to the stomach and chest, and those bullets tore through him with brutal precision. We're talking serious internal hits, vital organs, arteries, everything. The type of wounds even the best trauma team at Mount Sinai would struggle to fix. The 2 guys with him got hit too. The 42-year-old caught rounds to the arm, back, and lower body, while the 39-year-old was luckier, ending up in fair condition after taking less critical hits. They all got rushed to the hospital, but once those paramedics saw Zoo's condition, the look on their faces said it all. It was bad, real bad. Then came the footage. The whole hit spread online faster than anyone could process. Raw, uncut clips flooded X and YouTube, showing the shooter's car pulling up, guns flashing, bullets flying, and people diving for their lives. You could see the panic, the confusion, the screams, pure chaos in seconds as everything turned into a desperate fight to stay alive. Mainstream media outlets like ABC7 and Times Now refused to post the footage. It was just too raw, too graphic for broadcast. But that didn't stop it from flooding every corner of the internet. The clip racked up thousands of views within hours, with people reposting it nonstop, adding RRIP captions and graphic content warnings that only made more folks click to see what really happened. The streets were buzzing, timelines were flooded, and emotions were running wild.
3 men hospitalized after South Lawndale shooting, police say. 3 men were shot around 3 p.m. Saturday in a parking lot in the 3100 block of South St. Louis and South Lawndale after someone in an unknown vehicle opened fire. The victims, a 35-year-old man in critical condition and 2 others, ages 39 and 42, in fair condition, were all taken to Mount Sinai Hospital.
When Zoo touched down at Mount Sinai's ER, he was fighting for his life, and calling that critical doesn't even cover it. Word on the streets, coming from people close to the scene who'd been speaking with hip-hop blogs, said Bezo had flatlined right there or moments after. His heart had stopped, his body was shutting down, and time was running out. But those EMTs? They weren't ready to let go. They worked on him like soldiers in a battle, refusing to quit even when things looked hopeless. Miraculously, they brought him back on that ambulance ride, resuscitated Big Homie, pulling him from the edge of death. But that comeback, it was short-lived, a painful delay before the inevitable tragedy hit again.
So the ambulance that came, right, he was already basically dead. Like, he had been dead for a minute. I don't want to say he died immediately, but Zoo had already been dead by the time that the ambulance came. When they revived him and they resuscitated him, he actually came back.
Inside the hospital, the scene was frantic. Doctors and nurses were pushing every limit, moving fast, trying to save Zoo. They started blood transfusions, pumping life back into him, hoping to replace everything he'd lost from those gunshot wounds. It was desperate. Machines beeping, hands trembling, everyone locked in on one goal: keep Zoo alive. But then things turned heartbreaking. His body started rejecting the new blood. His system, already torn apart, couldn't take it anymore. The bullets had done too much damage, shattered too many blood vessels, wrecked too much inside for even the best doctors to fix. Zoo was slipping away fast, and no one could stop it. The room filled with tension, tears, and disbelief as his pulse faded. Meanwhile, word spread through the streets like wildfire, and before long, about 30 people stormed into Mount Sinai. Family, OTF, THF, and homies from the block. Everyone came running, desperate to see Zoo before it was too late. The scene outside Mount Sinai that night was emotional as hell. People were crying, pacing, praying. It was heartbreak in real time. Zoo's baby mama pulled up, and right behind her came his main girl, Tiffany, an older woman who'd been holding him down through everything. According to witnesses, things got tense fast between the two women. The air was thick with grief, pain, and jealousy, emotions clashing while Zoo was still inside, fighting for his life just a few feet away. It was raw, messy, and human, the kind of moment where nobody knows how to act because love and loss collide all at once. That's the brutal truth about tragedy. It doesn't come clean or calm. Emotions go wild, people say things they don't mean, and the whole block feels the weight of it. Everyone outside was on edge, trying to stay strong while the doctors inside were doing everything they could.
Anyways, so there's 30 people that come. Like, you know, his homies come through, his baby mama come through, his girl is there. If y'all don't know, you know, shout out Tiffany, you know. But, you know, Zoo got an older woman. Zoo has an older...
By early evening, the news everyone feared finally dropped. Zoo was brain dead. The doctors explained that his brain had been without oxygen for too long. Even if they kept his body alive, the person they all knew, THF Bezo, the rapper, the father, the homie, the street soldier, was already gone. What lay in that hospital bed wasn't Zoo anymore. It was just his body, kept alive by machines pumping air and rhythm into something that wasn't living, just surviving. It was a cruel illusion, a heartbeat made by technology, prolonging the agony for everyone who loved him. Zoo's mother. Man, her pain was beyond words. No parent should ever face something like that. She stood there, staring at her son, torn apart inside, unable to make the hardest decision a mother could ever make. How could she give the word to pull the plug on her baby boy? To the world, he was a 35-year-old street legend, but to her, he was still the same little kid she once rocked to sleep. No fame, no street rep could change that. Doctors tried to explain gently. Her son's brain was gone. His body was just going through motions, and there was no hope of recovery. Family and friends cycled through that hospital room, whispering prayers, saying their last goodbyes to a man who could no longer hear them. Tears hit the floor as they held his hand, staring at the monitor that still showed a heartbeat. The faint rhythm of a life already gone. In the quiet, painful hours of the early morning on October 26, 2025, the hardest moment finally arrived. After hours of crying, arguing, and soul-crushing heartbreak, Zoo's family had to make the unthinkable choice to let him go. With tears streaming and hearts breaking, they agreed to withdraw life support. The room was filled with silence so heavy it could crush you. Nobody wanted it, but everyone knew it was time.
Family is still struggling with actually pulling the plug. So they pulled the plug early this morning on him, and he's no longer with us.
The machines were shut down one by one. The steady hum of the ventilator stopped. The artificial breathing faded into nothing. And just like that, Da Vinci THF Zoo Collier, 35 years old, father of 7, rapper, brother, and a man shaped by Chicago's toughest blocks, took his final breath. According to inside sources, Zoo's passing was marked around 7 p.m. on October 25, 2025, even though the official call came later. That's when Chicago lost another real one, and the city felt it deep. News of his death spread like wildfire across social media. Within minutes, timelines were flooded. Posts, hashtags, and RIP messages taking over every platform. It was the kind of chaos that only happens in the digital age, where grief and confusion mix together before the truth settles in. At first, nobody knew what to believe. One outlet said he was stable, another claimed he was still critical. The well-known Chicago Hits Spot News account on X even posted a confirmation before deleting it, waiting for official word. For a moment, the city was suspended between hope and heartbreak, praying it wasn't true, but knowing deep down what was coming. By that evening, all doubt was gone. The confirmation hit like a punch to the gut. Duty Low, one of Zoo's closest homies from OTF, posted a tribute on Instagram. Just a dove emoji and a picture of Zoo. No caption, no words, because none were needed. If you knew, you knew. Within minutes, the post exploded with reactions, thousands of comments, tributes, and crying emojis. The post became more than just a memory. It became a virtual memorial, a place where people came together to mourn, grieve, and remember through their screens in this digital age.
Yo, it's your boy King Yella, man. Zoo was shot 2 times in the chest, man. Yesterday, man. We had people posting like he passed away yesterday. Had people posting like he was in stable condition, people like he was in critical. But now today I wake up and see everybody saying rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace, man. And I know this done broke a lot of y'all heart.
Soon after, more OTF and THF members followed. They dropped voice notes, shared memories, and posted clips of Zoo's old freestyles, each message heavier than the last. THF Rome even posted raw audio, his voice cracking as he talked about how numb they'd all become to losing people. He said it plain. They'd lost a big face out of THF, and you could feel the pain in his words. That's what made this loss sting even harder. It wasn't just another tragedy in the streets. It was personal. It was family. And this time, it hit way too close to home. Lil Durk, still sitting in a federal facility fighting those heavy RICO charges, got the heartbreaking news from behind bars. And it hit him hard. Locked in a cold cell, powerless. He couldn't do a thing. No funeral to attend, no moment to comfort Zoo's family, no way to pour one out for his fallen brother, just stuck in that cell, forced to face another devastating loss while the streets kept swallowing everyone around him. According to unverified posts from people claiming to be close to the situation on X, Durk broke down when he heard the news, right there during a jail phone call. And while no one can officially confirm it, anyone who knows how deep those OTF bonds run could tell that pain was real. Durk and Zoo weren't just label mates. They were brothers from the mud. They came up together, side by side, in the same trenches, dreaming of making it out. Durk reached wealth and global fame, but even with all that, he couldn't protect the ones he loved from the streets that made them who they were. That's the cruel twist. Success didn't buy safety, not when the game itself never lets go. As soon as the news broke, social media blew up again. Fans, peers, and entire online communities flooded timelines with tributes. X threads turned into memorial walls, Reddit pages from Chicago to the UK drill scene became digital candlelight vigils. Comment sections overflowed with heartbreak, hundreds of people typing from the heart, trying to make sense of another fallen soldier. Durk going insane in that cell, one user posted, echoing what everybody was thinking. Another wrote, "Real stepper, real guy, RIP Zoo," speaking for thousands who felt the same pain. Even across the ocean, in the UK drill subreddits, people were showing love and respect for Zoo's name. They talked about how authentic he was. No fake image, no cap, just a real one in a world full of pretenders chasing clout. His reputation wasn't something he built online. It was earned in real life through loyalty and survival.
Fortunately, I feel away too. Me and bro, 35 years old, and even he from the other side, but me and Zoo done chopped it up a couple times, man, on some grown man. So I could say that he sat there, done called me yellow, man, ooh, grown. You know what I'm saying? We done had them conversations, man,
Then something eerie resurfaced. Zoo's final Instagram live. A casual stream recorded just days before the hit. He was sitting at home, talking like everything was normal, laughing, relaxed, just vibing. Nobody watching that live could have guessed they were seeing one of his last moments before everything changed forever. Zoo's last live video hit different once people realized what came after. In the clip, he was speaking straight to the camera, raw, unfiltered, and fearless. Dressed in a black OTF hoodie, chain shining under the light, red cup in hand, he stared dead into the lens, addressing his ops with that mix of confidence and exhaustion only a man who's seen too much can carry. You could hear the weight in his voice, the frustration, the pride, and something almost prophetic, like he knew danger was circling closer every day. He talked about loyalty, payback, and staying ready, that timeless street code of get back, making it clear that his enemies were watching. But so was he. Interview.
I ain't arguing with those trolls. I am a troll. This is what I do. I get on this tweet with y'all all day.
That 4-minute live stream hits way harder now. Watching it today, you can feel the tension behind every word. Zoo wasn't just talking tough. He was speaking truth. He understood how the streets really worked, the unspoken math of every move having a price. In Chicago, there's no such thing as escaping your past. Everything loops back around. He knew debts in that world don't get settled with words. They get paid in blood no matter how long it takes. Still, Zoo wasn't naive. He understood the risk, the target on his back, the constant watchful eyes. But he refused to hide. He chose to live his life full speed, refusing to let fear keep him trapped in the crib, even though that courage would end up costing him everything. CPD later classified the shooting as a targeted gang-related attack. And as of October 27, 2025, 2 days after the hit, there were still no arrests. The investigation remains active, handled by CPD's Gang Intelligence Unit. But let's be honest, solving gang murders in Chicago is like chasing ghosts. Witness cooperation is almost non-existent, cameras conveniently glitch or disappear, and that no snitching rule still runs deep. Even people who saw the whole thing go down will swear they ain't seen a thing. Still, the streets talk, always. And when they do, the whispers paint a clearer picture than any official report ever could.
Asked what the hell he was doing there, and this is, this gangs, this is the SA part of town and all this stuff and everything and blah, blah, blah. And I get all that, but also over there, he was getting a part for his car.
Word started spreading fast about who might have caught that body and why. The most persistent rumor buzzing through the city pointed straight at a Black Disciples set known as Bash Crazy. And once that name entered the conversation, everything about this tragedy started sounding even more twisted. Word on the street says this hit didn't come out of nowhere. It was payback. The whispers traced it back to around 71st and Wabash, the turf of a Black Disciples set known as Bash Crazy. According to street sources talking on X and other platforms, Zoo's death was allegedly revenge for the February 2024 murder of a BD member known as Man Man. And here's the twist, Man Man himself had reportedly been killed for allegedly taking out THF TP, one of Zoo's close brothers from the THF camp. So if the rumors hold any truth, this wasn't just one murder. It was part of a bloody chain reaction that's been spinning out of control for over a year. Each body leading to the next, an endless loop of get back with no off switch. It started with THF TP's death in early 2024, then Man Man got dropped in retaliation, and now, 8 months later, Bay Zoo, one of THF's most recognized and respected names, was executed in broad daylight. Another score settled, another family shattered, another chapter added to Chicago's never-ending story of revenge.
Somebody made a call. Hey, I think Bay Zoo here, bro. Hey, Bay Zoo here, bro. What? Yeah, Bay Zoo here. Hey, for real? Hell yeah. Oh, say less, we finna pull up. You know what I mean? That right there is textbook. Somebody dropped location.
But what really got people talking was the theory that somebody dropped Zoo's low, meaning someone from the inside leaked his location to the ops. The internet went crazy with that idea, and honestly, the way the hit played out made it sound believable. This wasn't no coincidence or drive-by gone wrong. The shooters knew exactly where to find him, exactly when he'd be there, and rolled up loaded for war. Over 100 shots fired? That ain't panic, that's precision. That's a coordinated hit, planned down to the minute, with enough firepower to make sure the mission was finished. That kind of setup doesn't happen by luck. It takes coordination, surveillance, and someone close enough to feed real intel. And that's what makes this whole situation even messier. It hints that betrayal might have come from within. Street politics in Chicago are complicated, layered with loyalty and deceit living side by side. Digging deeper, the beef allegedly stretches all the way back to 2023, when a set of luxury watches was stolen from rapper Lil Osama, who's connected to the STL EBT faction. Word is, some THF members might have been involved in what the streets called a backdoor move, basically a slick betrayal that violated all codes of trust. That move sparked heavy tension between crews, the kind that doesn't just fade away, it festers until blood gets spilled. Then, after Zoo's murder, things got even uglier. Lil Osama's younger brother reportedly posted memes on IG mocking Zoo's death. Those posts hit hard, setting the internet on fire and pushing the beef even deeper. What started as a personal loss turned into a public war of disrespect, with the next wave of retaliation already brewing. This is the dark truth of Chicago's gang scene in 2025. A tangled maze of grudges, alliances, betrayals, and revenge. Somewhere along the way, the original reason for the conflict gets buried under years of pain and payback. It becomes a vicious cycle. You take one of mine, I take one of yours, and it keeps spinning until entire generations get wiped out. It's not just violence anymore. It's history repeating itself, louder every time. The Black Disciples, one of Chicago's biggest, most structured street organizations, didn't start yesterday. They split from the original Black Gangster Disciples after the death of their founder, David Barksdale, back in 1974. Since then, they've grown into a massive network with sets spread across the south and west sides, each with their own alliances and enemies. For years, the BDs have been in constant tension with OTF and THF, whose roots trace back to the Black P. Stones and other rival groups. The violence between these camps isn't just personal, it's generational. According to DOJ reports, over 100 homicides since 2020 alone have been linked to various BD subsets, proving how deep the conflict still runs. Zoo's death fits that pattern perfectly. Another casualty in the endless war over territory, loyalty, and reputation. It's part of a much bigger picture that's made Chicago one of the most dangerous cities for young black men in America. On Reddit threads like Kirikology, users dropped chilling takes, one writing, "Real talk, they wanted Zoo out the way. The days of knowing all your ops are over. Once you hit 30 plus, it's a wrap." And sadly, that line hits hard. It reflects a harsh truth. There's no aging out of the streets anymore. By 35, Zoo should have been past the most dangerous stage of street life. Most guys who survive that long either move out of state, get locked up, or find a quiet lane away from the madness. But Zoo? He stayed visible, loyal, and connected. Still repping THF, still in Chicago, still in the mix, and that alone kept him on the radar. His fame made him harder to hide, and his loyalty made him impossible to detach. That combination turned him into a permanent target in a city where surviving your own success is the hardest battle of all.
Unfortunately, man, being in them streets and being in Chicago, man, when you come from that and you in the wrong places, it can happen. Like I always tell people, it can happen to you no matter what, 10 years later, 20 years later. When you in them places, man, it could just happen.
Now that we've pieced together how Zoo's story ended in that parking lot, it's time to look back, to understand how it began. Because Zoo wasn't just some drill rapper chasing viral moments or social media hype. Nah, this was a certified street figure, someone whose name held weight long before music blogs ever mentioned it. THF. Bezo wasn't a character. He was real, born and raised in a place that shaped him from day one. Born around 1990 in Chicago, though the exact date isn't confirmed, Da Vinci Chi Collier came up in Englewood, specifically around 63rd and Normal. And if you know anything about Englewood, you know that's one of the toughest battlegrounds in the city. This isn't just another neighborhood. It's a living example of everything that's broken about America's treatment of black communities. Englewood's been drowning for decades under poverty, failed schools, redlining, and violence. But it's not statistics. It's real families living with hard choices every day. We're talking about moms choosing between keeping the lights on or putting food on the table. Schools underfunded to the point of collapse. Kids learning more from the streets than the classrooms. Over-policing that locks people up but never makes them feel protected. It's the kind of environment where young boys don't just fall into the streets, they get pushed into them. Gang life becomes less of a choice and more of a survival strategy. And from that same chaos came Zoo, a product of his environment, but also someone who managed to stand out in it. He learned early that respect, loyalty, and survival weren't just values. They were the only way to stay alive. Zoo didn't dive into the streets because he wanted to be a criminal. He did it because the streets offered something the system never did: structure, protection, and belonging. Where schools failed, where jobs didn't exist, and where cops only showed up after the damage was done, the gang became the only thing that felt real. Young Da Vinci found that sense of family in the Tay-Town Hustlers, better known as THF. This crew, linked to the Black P. Stones and connected with the 051 Young Money subset, ran territories where the wrong color, the wrong block, or even the wrong hand sign could cost you your life. Survival out there wasn't about luck. It was about knowing who you stood with and who stood against you. Not much is known publicly about Zoo's immediate family, not his parents, siblings, or the specifics of his upbringing. But anyone from Chicago's South Side knows what that life looks like. Sirens at night, memorial candles on corners, and dreams that feel too far to reach. In one of the few interviews he ever gave, Zoo described it as living in the trenches, street slang for being stuck in the harshest conditions imaginable. Out there, survival means hustling by any means, dodging cops who treat you like a suspect before you even speak, and trying to find a way to eat when every door to a legit opportunity is locked shut. Zoo wasn't some suburban kid playing gangster for clout. He was a product of his surroundings. He grew up where gang affiliation wasn't just peer pressure, it was protection. A code of survival when the world outside didn't care if you made it to 18. His teenage years were scarred by constant loss. Friends murdered, cousins locked up, homies vanishing one by one. To cope, he built what people on the block call street armor. That emotional toughness you need just to get through another day. But that same armor that kept him alive would later drag him deeper into the cycle that took everything away. In his rare 2023 sit-down with No Jumper, Zoo opened up about what living that life really did to a person. He spoke with a kind of honesty you don't usually hear from drill rappers. Calm, but haunted. He admitted how numb he'd become to death, how he had to block out feelings just to keep functioning. You see your day ones catching slugs, he said, and you just keep moving because if you stop, you break. That's how deep it goes. Constant loss forces you to bury your emotions just to survive another week.
Boy, Big Zoo, man, THF Zoo. Instagram, Big Boss Zoo _46, man, OTF.
It's your boy Big Duty Low, man. Bald head Richmond.
It's your boy Disky, aka The Threat, man. We just jump off the porch.
With Dirty Glove Blaster.
Man, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
That mindset, that emotional armor shaped Zoo into what the streets call a real stepper. And make no mistake, a stepper ain't just someone who raps tough or posts threats online. A stepper is built different. It's someone who's really out there, living by loyalty over fame, standing 10 toes down no matter the risk. It's about sticking to the code even when outsiders call it backwards. For people living in those conditions, loyalty is law. In communities where police can't or won't protect you, where justice rarely exists, being a stepper is about defending your people, your name, and your block, even when it means walking a line between survival and destruction. Through all the chaos, Zoo carried himself like that. Fearless, loyal, and real to the end. Zoo always said music was his therapy, the only thing that gave him peace in a world built on pain. It wasn't about chasing platinum plaques or fame. It was about survival. He started rapping as a teen, not because he dreamed of luxury cars or awards, but because he needed somewhere to put all that hurt. Every verse was like releasing pressure from a wound that never healed. Music gave him a voice, an escape, a moment to breathe. But before it could open any real doors, life hit him hard. The justice system swooped in and changed everything. It didn't just take his freedom, it reshaped his entire future. In July 2009, at just 19 years old, Zoo got caught up in something that would define the next decade of his life. He was accused in connection to the fatal shooting of 21-year-old Dominic Barnes, a tragedy that went down during 4th of July weekend on 47th and Forestville. Just another night in Chicago where fireworks and gunfire blended together. And another young life was lost in the endless cycle of neighborhood beefs. But here's where things got wild. Zoo wasn't arrested right away. For 5 long years, from 2009 to 2014, he lived under constant suspicion. His name floated around in the streets, whispered in police reports, but no charges came. Then, out of nowhere in November 2014, the feds finally made their move, and they did it with full drama. They raided Lil Durk's crib, where Zoo just happened to be. That one move didn't just get him locked up. It publicly tied his name to one of Chicago's rising drill stars, turning what should have been a private arrest into a headline. Overnight, Zoo went from low-key to infamous.
Bro, the case that I was fighting my murder on happened 4th of July 2008 or 9. Don't quote me because I don't remember, like, I done been through so much afterwards. I didn't get arrested for a murder charge in 2014, so you do the math.
5 years later. Somebody told on you at a later date?
Somebody lied on me at a later date.
Right. And what, like, so why was that enough, though, to get you actually, like, held for 4 years?
Like, it's just that bad. They want to off the street. Like, it was hearsay from the jump anyway. You feel me? No eyewitnesses got on stand, but it's 5 people got on stand on me in trial. 5 people, and I still came home, inshallah, you know.
The years Zoo spent locked up changed him forever, in ways that cut deep and never really healed. During his 2023 No Jumper interview, he described the mental toll of sitting in a cell while watching his world fall apart from behind bars. He talked about the pain of hearing, through jail rumors and contraband phones, that his closest homies were getting killed one by one, and there was nothing he could do. Imagine living your life by a code of loyalty and revenge, and suddenly being trapped, powerless to ride for your brothers. That helplessness turned into trauma, guilt, and rage that followed him even after his release. He said it plain: you can't heal in a place built to break you. But somehow, against all odds, Zoo beat the case. In December 2017, after endless court dates, continuances, appeals, and the slow grind of a system stacked against him, he walked out of Cook County Jail a free man. The key witnesses had recanted their statements. The prosecution's case fell apart, and it became clear the whole thing had been built on shaky ground. It was a rare victory in a system that almost never lets men like him win. Aye, his timing couldn't have been better. Lil Durk was on fire, transitioning from Chicago's underground to national stardom. And through it all, Durk never forgot Zoo. He wrote letters, sent money, and checked in on him regularly. When Zoo walked free, Durk didn't waste a second. He flew Zoo and King Von, who'd just beaten his own murder case weeks earlier, straight to Atlanta. It was supposed to be a simple celebration. 3 brothers finally free, breathing the same air again. Then someone cracked a joke during a studio session at Durk's spot. Y'all both just beat bodies. Y'all need to make a track about it. The room laughed, but the idea stuck. Before long, they called in an engineer, grabbed a beat, and went off the dome. No pen, no pad, just raw emotion and adrenaline. That's how Beat Dat Body was born, a spontaneous masterpiece born from pain, pride, and survival. You can hear it in every bar. 2 men who stared down life sentences and came back to tell the story.
Flew us down here, you feel me, took us shopping and we, I said it on my No Jump interview, you know, we was just really just in the basement. On Durk Live, we set a live up there. They was like, damn, you Zoo and Von just beat they murder of one apart from each other. Y'all should do a song.
Interview, 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 interview. The song became an instant street anthem. Pure, authentic drill. Raw, aggressive, honest, and celebratory all at once. Fans connected with it because it wasn't manufactured. It was real life. 2 voices that knew exactly what freedom cost. For Zoo, it was his biggest record yet. Proof that his story could turn into something powerful. But even freedom came with strings attached. He was put on house arrest with electronic monitoring for 4 years. That meant no touring, no hitting festivals, no late-night performances. While other OTF members were building brands, networking, and performing across the country, Zoo was stuck at home, recording in makeshift studios, doing his best to stay relevant from inside the crib. Still, he didn't complain. Even though that restriction would have made most men bitter, Zoo stayed loyal, especially to Durk. He often credited Durk with feeding the trenches, helping with legal fees, and keeping their people afloat when nobody else could. That loyalty wasn't for social media. It was real, built from years of surviving together, fighting cases, losing friends, and watching the streets change around them.
Man, I finally just got off the band a month ago. I've been on house arrest for 4 years.
So you can move around freely now.
Yes, that's why I'm trying to do it so slow with us, man. You hear me? Like, I ain't been able to be around my brothers for real.
By his mid-30s, Zoo had become something rare in the drill scene. An OG who lived long enough to reflect on it all. At 35, he was practically a veteran by Chicago standards, having survived what most never do: gun violence, incarceration, and emotional numbness that breaks people before they even hit their 20s. Those close to him described him as a paradox, quiet but strong, intimidating but kind-hearted. He didn't chase clout, but he gave without hesitation. He funded funerals for fallen homies, helped families of locked-up members, and mentored the younger ones trying to find a better way. At 35, father to 7, and in a relationship with Tiffany, the same woman who'd been by his side through it all, Zoo was walking a tightrope between two worlds. He was trying to maintain his street respect while carving a new path that didn't end in tragedy. It was a nearly impossible balance, but he was doing it. Building something better, finally starting to see light after all those years of darkness. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you on the next one.